This is my reconstruction of Baryonyx in diorama form, taking up residence in the Weald Clay. This was easily my most time-consuming video to make, and you'll see that as we progress. And to the commenter asking for Baryonyx, you're welcome. The first step of making a diorama with a dinosaur is to have a dinosaur in the first place, and for that we have the esteemed Baryonyx walkeri.
Hello, Rudy.
I was originally going to place the setting in the Wessex formation, which has leaps and bounds more paleobiota to work with, but the remains of Baryonyx found there were reassigned to the two genera Ceratoseucops and Rhyperovenator, so ultimately didn't affect things too much. To start off, I made a skeleton using aluminum armature wire. This is to provide structure and rigidity, just like bones. Then I covered and filled the framework with aluminum foil and masking tape. Filling out most of the sculpt with other materials saves a great deal of weight and money since I get to use less clay. My main reference was this Scott Hartman skeletal, which shows a surprisingly stocky animal, so the future chunkiness is justified. Which is funny since it turns out more chunky than the aloe I did like a year back. Now the reason I'm adding so much masking tape is because I was trying to save the amount of clay I needed by making the muscles, or at least as much of them as possible, with masking tape. Kind of blending the tinfoil and wire method used by a lot of sculptors with the masking tape method used by Marco Makes. The overstuffing before using clay will come back to bite me later on. Now here I block out the animal with broad chunks of clay, sort of like a sketch, if you will, adding and smoothing stuff out to get to the general shape. Baryonyx was stocky, and it had fairly short legs, which is kind of a staple of Spinosaurids. Now this process involves a lot of trial and error. I wanted a proportionately sound animal, and it was difficult. A lot of references were used, and this was probably the longest part of the project. The amount of footage I cut out because of its repetitiveness was very extensive. Baryonyx was capable of semi-aquatic feeding, with the most widely accepted model being the wading method often seen in modern birds like herons and storks. I give it a fairly thick neck, which may seem a bit excessive comparing it to its modern analogs, but it had quite a bit more weight to carry than the light skull of, say, a heron. Just putting this part in. Oh yeah, this is, I wonder which video is going to come out first. But, I'm just scraping off a bunch of clay with this, this paper clip. Focus. Focus. There we go. And the reason I'm doing that is just because it was way too thick. It's still a bit wide. I didn't want another Allosaurus situation where it's like T-Rex level. I mean, this one's, I don't know, this one is really misshapen in general. But yeah, this is how much clay I've removed from just this side. But it's coming together. This is just the musculature. I'm not even onto the skin. What the heck am I doing floundering like this? Now, I've been doing this in a sort of, well, it's sculpted from the muscles kind of way, and it's not working. Look how janky it looks. I don't know, maybe I've gone blind from looking at it, but I don't like it, and it's being very difficult. And you see I've done a lot of work off camera because, you know, it's taking a lot longer than I would like, and I'm this far, still in the blocking stage. So I'm just gonna go from head to tail, and we'll see how it goes. I went for the head. Yeah, I was wondering what the hell is going on. Why is there this in the way? I thought it was the spine, but no, the spine's in the middle. This is the friggin' wire I used to simulate the scapula, but it's being nothing but a problem. Bro has been completely destroyed. That must hurt. It doesn't have nerves. Okay. Oh, it was for the arms. Well, get rid of this masking tape too. I bulked up the armature way too much. Looks like he has looks like I actually decapitated him and like stuff's coming out of his throat. That's a fun picture. Wish everything back together. Pretend it never happened. What the? Why does this look different and better? Why didn't you show us this? Well, it's because, yeah, I'm tired. For the general facial integument, I referenced this artwork of Stratoseucops. There doesn't seem to be any accessible facial reconstructions, a similar situation to Giganotosaurus, which Mark Whitten made a whole blog post on that I highly recommend, but I like the look here and try my best to be less janky than I normally would be.
The story of Spinosaurus begins here in the Sahara Desert in Egypt between 1909. Why did it have such huge forearms?
Sorry, my phone ran out of battery. And also, apparently the camera angle on reviewing the footage didn't do a good job of showing what I did anyways. So here's just a quick once-over of what I have. One side is clearly being favored over the other. I need to work more equilibrially. Also, the tail is way too short. Like, what is this? Anyways, I'm just going to... I went straight to scale detail at first, which was stupid. Past Ichthyovenator, you're stupid. Showing off sculpting is really hard when you don't have a tripod. These arms are way too short, so sorry, buddy. I don't have a choice. He has pain in his eyes.
Okay, but guys. Yeah, hear me out.
What?
Adrian, shut the fuck up.
Go ahead.
Boom, 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 boom.
What?
Boom, boom, boom. Is that the Wee Rainbow Road?
Wait, so Adrian, why isn't Anna joining the voice chat? Oh, there she is. Ha! That's hilarious!
Literally the perfect timing.
Wow. So, there is this light. There we go. There's this really annoying thing. This arm. I hate it. I hate it. Getting. So I've done all of the scalation on the head and neck, as you can see, and I've actually reduced the bulk of the body a lot because the neck was too short, so I extended it. And I'm gonna bake this so that it's set in place and I don't end up squishing things. We'll come back to this with it being baked. And here he is, freshly out of the oven. But little does he realise, a Craig is watching his every move. Oh dear. The basic integument I used for the entire animal were small polygonal basement scales. They're definitely bigger than they would be in real life, but if they were to scale, they'd either be too fine to sculpt or just require leaving the model smooth, which works in a drawing, but less so in a sculpture. Well, I've probably spent, I don't even know how long, doing the scales on this torso here. Oh yeah. Carefully. I also just want to see if doing this thing with the arms and then baking it will work, because I've had so much trouble with the arms with it so many times. Man, this dude must be so upset. Look at him. He's like, I've been in the oven twice already. I'm gonna be in there like 5 more times. Please help me. It's hot in there. Yeah, no, it's late at night. I'm tired. Sorry. Oh god. Okay, to use the proper term, the arm, fucking disappeared. Also, sculpting is, like, super brittle. Like, Jesus. I could snap it off really easily. Like, watch. I don't know why I did that. That looks like garbage. Oh, god. Oh my gosh, guys, I just went down, I was about to go downstairs to bake this, and my mom found the other arm. It was on the stove. So, I guess we've really Scooby-Dooby solved this. I don't know. Okay, I think I'll attach it after I bake this, so I don't mess up more details. This video is gonna be coming out so late. Okay guys, we're almost done. Now, let's just see if I can't glue this, the arm in with super glue without getting it all over my hands. Yes, please. So, again, we just put it like that. And we'll just cut over to the final sculpt. So here is the finished sculpt. Now, it's not perfect. I have to admit, there's a bunch of blemishes, like where the tail rests, there's a lump here. You can still see the super glue a bit. I'm gonna maybe pull the good old-fashioned, pretend that's a serious injury to the arm type thing, which is why it's not really bent like the other one. My gosh, retroactive planning, who would have thought? I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's a lot better than my Allosaurus. Speaking of which, let's do a quick comparison. Hoo boy, this guy did not age well. Now we move on to painting, and after priming the piece, I came up with these color schemes based on different extant animals that have some sort of aquatic habits, and put it to a vote. You guys picked this design, which I didn't really know how to work with at first because I just kind of threw it together at the end, but it was based on the saddle-billed stork and a mangrove snake, but I couldn't think of a way to make it connect. My solution ended up being a shit ton of washes and some electric blue accents, which surprisingly brought everything together. I took the blue reticulated pattern from a turquoise monitor, which is very faded compared to what we have here. Now comes the fun part, the diorama. Styrofoam. Small piece of styrofoam. Now this might suck because styrofoam is gonna get everywhere, forgot to record this part, but I stacked a bunch of pieces of the leftover styrofoam on top of the main chunk to give it some topography. I wanted to give it a sort of rocky shoreline vibe, kind of similar to the current Isle of Wight.
I freaking called it. Oh boy. Only reason I chose styrofoam is because it's all I have. Now time to start with the texturing. Now for this next step, I'm going to be using toilet paper, white glue, black paint, and some paint water that I forgot to pour out.
With those materials, I made a mixture with the black paint, white glue, and paint water, and dabbed it with a paintbrush on top of strips of toilet paper to make a rocky texture. This would act as a foundation while giving it a fairly realistic, craggy shoreline vibe. Afterwards, I was able to make a small, very, very crude carcass of a marine reptile. I based it off of Leptocleidos, which I believe existed around the same time and place, and I kind of just made a very disheveled carcass, which allowed me to make it as messy as I wanted, because at this point I just really wanted the thing to be done, and I mean I tried it first a bit, but it didn't really work out. So I then painted it a general oceanic color scheme of grays and blues, and made it a bit gory, I guess, but there has to be a reason for the Baryonyx to be on this shore, right? After the toilet paper dried, it became a lot lighter than I anticipated, which would have been great if I was working at some sort of dusty cliffside, but I wanted this to be a humid, craggy riverbed. Well, not riverbed, river shore. So I added another pass of paint to intensify the colors a bit, making it more gray and adding in different mixes of different colors of gray, depending on more neutral, more light, more dark, etc. But generally, most of it was just dollar store black paint, which is why it looks gray. Here I paint a bit of the sandy riverbed with different shades of yellows and browns, and I add a little bit of the foam that would appear when the shore has those ripples and waves splashed on it. Afterwards, I make a mixture of white glue, baking soda, and black and orange paint to make a brown color, and I mixed in some paint water, and this made a sort of sludge that I could just slap onto the rocky areas and make it a lot more textured than the toilet paper itself would allow. I actually got this technique from Studson Studio, one of his videos, like it was the Toad's Pod Racer video, where he makes rust with this technique, and it actually works out very well. It dries a lot easier, it's more resistant to water because it's not toilet paper, and it looks like actual rock. I also use this technique with cornstarch, which made less convincing rock textures, but very nice mud textures. And I didn't really know that because this was my first time using it, but I'll surely use that more in the future. Now I'm building up in value with the baking soda sludge, basically, giving it a bit more layers as I give it some more washes on top of it. And as I wait for it to dry, I also dry brush different areas to bring out the rocky vibe of it. Now, something that you'll notice is there's a bit of graininess to the footage in some of the areas in this video. It's because when I recorded this, my phone was vertical and not horizontal, which was really frustrating. But with the different dry brushes and washes, I made the rock look a bit more realistic and added some lichen-like features with the greens and yellows, as well as the blood staining the rock from the Leptocleidos carcass. I then took a dollar store moss I had and kind of just pushed it around. Afterwards of which I painted a bit more of what the water would actually look like. And then after gluing down the different mossy areas and some brambles, I covered the water in several layers of gloss varnish. Afterwards, I made some foliage using shredded sponges and different shades of paint to make a sort of leafy green texture, which I used Mod Podge to glue all over the diorama in whatever way I saw fit, and I thought it looked decent enough. But here we go. This is the final piece. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I'm sorry it took so long, like 4 months long, jeez. Well, and you guys know my procrastination efforts are truly immaculate. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to give me some suggestions on whether or not I should make more things like this. And of course, other video ideas. And that doesn't mean you just have to do redesigning ideas, okay? I have enough of those. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully sooner than this.
Thank you.